Hello, friends from across the nation and around the world. I'm Martin, and you are listening to Dad's Anytime Stories. And today we're going to be continuing with Wizardcraft 2.0, Chapter 15. Now, this chapter had two original suggestions when it went out on Dad's Bedtime Stories, so thank you to both of those people. Josiah suggested the portal bracelet idea, and Ryan wanted gem golems, so I really appreciate both of those ideas, and I appreciate you for listening. If you like the podcast, don't forget to rate it and review it on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you want ad-free episodes, you can join us on Patreon. But now, on with the chapter. Chapter 15. The Battle of the Crystal and Gem Golems. Oliver woke up to the same words as always, floating in the center of his vision. Wake up? He selected yes, and the world slid into his focus. The guest room inside the town hall of the village they'd just taken. Before he could swing his feet to the floor, Martin's warm voice resonated in his head. Congratulations! You have reached level 15. Mana, health, and stamina increased. You have earned 1 skill point. He opened up the skill menu as usual. A new sigil bloomed on his menu. Command Network. A telepathic command link to your forces. Sense positions, pressure points, and where an order will matter most, even at a distance. Oliver purchased it without hesitation. A subtle lattice lit across his awareness. Dragons dozing on rooftops. Knights checking straps. A golden golem sluicing itself into different shapes. "Oh, you're finally up," Griffin said from a chair by the window. "We have so many things to tell you." Yeah, we sure do," Owen added. "So many things." "What is it?" Oliver asked, sitting up. The new link hummed at the edge of his thoughts, quietly updating him on patrol rotations outside. "First," Griffin said, "we finished building the portal back to our base and, well, Gus should be here any second." "Already here," came a familiar voice as Gus walked into the room, dusting his sleeves. "Hey, Gus, how are things back home?" Oliver asked. "Perfectly fine," Gus said. "I imagine whatever you've done here has drawn attention away from our village." "Good," Oliver said. "What else did you find?" Griffin grinned and produced 3 slim bands. "Well, it turns out the Wizard King, or whoever ran this place, was hoarding portal crystals, and these." What are those?" Oliver asked. "Portal bracelets," Griffin said. "They act like single-person portals. If we socket the right connector stones, anyone wearing one can jump to a linked portal, or even another bracelet." Owen waggled his wrist. "We've been trying them all morning. They're like teleportation magic, only, any distance as long as it's linked." "Cool," Oliver said. His inner map ticked as squads below stairs finished loading supplies. No need for a runner to report it. Griffin pressed the band into his hand. "I figured you want them set up. Each bracelet now has crystals linked to different destinations. 2 crystals connect bracelet to bracelet. The others go to, the dinosaur village, and here. We can add more as we take territory." "Then we each get one," Oliver said. He snapped a band around his wrist and handed the others to Owen and Griffin. "Really? For us?" Owen said, eyes wide. "Of course," Oliver said. "You two are basically my generals. You'll need them." "Awesome," Griffin breathed. "There's more," Owen said. "We used the gold golem spell and created golems of our own. And shared the spell with a few trusted soldiers, of course. We've got about 15 now. They sort of, flow around attacks. Little gold shapeshifters. They're going to be great in a fight." "On top of that," Griffin added, "a lot of people, once the mind control wore off, joined us. Taking the next village should be no problem at all." "What is the next village?" Oliver asked. Gus stepped closer to the map unfurled across a side table. "There are two, Eastgate and Westgate. Either road leads straight to the Wizard King's city." "Which do we take?" Oliver asked. "That," Gus said, "is the difficult part, but I have a suggestion." He tapped both markers at once. "With the portal crystals, the bracelets, our gold golems, and our absurdly large army of rock golems, what if we split our forces and take both?" "You mean Eastgate and Westgate at the same time?" Oliver said. "Yes. It was easy enough to liberate this town, and we're stronger now than we were then. Even if those two are better fortified, and I expect they are, half our strength should be enough for each. We split the dragon riders, split the golems, split the knights and dino riders. 2 blows at once." Oliver waited. The network stitched the idea into clean lines across his mind. 2 columns, staggered timings, reinforcement paths glowing along bracelet routes. Who goes where? "I was thinking you and Griffin to Eastgate," Gus said. "Send Owen and Lucy to Westgate. Half the riders, half the golems each." "It's risky," Oliver said, "but the Wizard King won't see it coming. If we take both at once, his city is surrounded. We can make the final push from 2 directions." He nodded. "All right, let's do it." "Excellent choice," Gus said. "I'll start dividing the forces." Oliver turned to his friends. "Here's how we'll run it. Griffin and I take Eastgate. Owen, take Lucy to Westgate. If you finish first, use the bracelet and jump to us. If we finish first, we'll jump to you." Owen glanced at his dragon waiting on the courtyard. "Can those bracelets transfer a dragon too?" Afraid not," Griffin said. "We tried, 1 person at a time." "Well, then at least one of us can reinforce the others," Oliver said. "Let's get everyone sorted." They spent the rest of the morning splitting the army cleanly in 2. Ranks of rock and iron golems, a gleaming spear point of diamond and gold, squads of knights, dino riders on triceratops, raptors, and pterodactyls, a pair of worm cavalry teams, and half the dragon riders per column. Officers shifted into new places, like stones in a wall. No cracks, no wasted gaps. Through command network, Oliver felt morale steady and logistics click into place without needing a single shouted reminder. At noon, Oliver vaulted onto Diamondback and lifted with the East Gate column. He circled above as the army rolled, a tide of boulders at the front where rock golems had already tucked and spun, iron pounding in behind, knights and dinos thundering in loose waves, worm riders dipping and rising like fish in stone. An hour later, they reached Eastgate, a fortress ringed by high walls bristling with archers and catapults. It looked formidable, but the feel of the place told Oliver it wasn't as strong as it wanted to seem. He took one long breath, saw the field unfurl in crisp lines, and cut the first thread. Advance! Rock golems rolled first, iron clanking behind, diamond and gold reserving their strength for the break. Dino riders kicked forward, pterodactyl flyers leapt. Oliver and half the dragons stooped toward the parapets. The alarm shrieked, archers crowded the walls, catapults belched stone, secret doors snapped open, and 3 enemy dragons soared out, stone, wind, and fire. The sky filled with spells. Wind scythed, water slammed, fire roared, and stone flew. Then a new thread rolled from the tunnels. Golems like rock, but some were milky white, almost quartz, and others a deep emerald green. They hit the front and split, then began firing shards. Emerald spikes and quartz javelins hammered Oliver's line. Rock golems shattered to rubble. Even iron took some serious hits. Luckily, the diamond golem seemed unaffected. The gold golems had the strangest reaction to the attacks. The spikes just went straight through them. The gold flowed and sealed as fast as it was pierced. "Open lanes for gold," Oliver called down. "Rock on rock, iron hold the line, diamonds punch, gold take the gem types." His forces shifted like water. Gold golems rolled past, then did something completely unexpected. They unfurled into gleaming sheets and wrapped the emerald and quartz golems. Then they hardened themselves back into solid material and started to shrink, slowly crushing the gem golems. Oliver heard strange crunching sounds when the gold peeled away. Only a spill of gemstones remained. Above, the dragon fight tightened. "Diamondback, now!" Diamondback angled, exhaled a broad green wave, and the ground answered. Vines exploded up the walls and snapped around enemy dragons' legs, tails, and wings. "Griffin, you're shot!" Griffin banked his dragon, drew a lungful of cold. An arc of icy fire washed the tangled enemies in frost. A rider on a stone dragon slammed both claws to the ground and hurled chunks of rock in a rising volley. One by one, the enemy dragons took hits and burst into, glitter. Riders forced to respawn elsewhere. "Take the walls!" Oliver shouted. Dino riders and knights surged past golems, finishing the melee. Pterodactyls and dragons raked the parapets with flame, ice, and from Oliver, a sweep of nature that knitted living thorns into barricades and snared bowstrings. Archers froze, entangled, or forced to respawn. Down below, armored dinos hammered the gates to splinters, and the knights poured through. Within minutes, Eastgate fell. Reports came fast. "Sir, the town's under the same mind control field. We think we've found the device." Oliver slid from Diamondback with Griffin and followed a soldier into a concealed stair and down to a humming chamber. There it was, another metal and glass lattice of evil intent. He didn't deliberate. He gathered fire and poured it in until the device screamed and puddled into slag. Even without seeing it, he felt the shift in his network. Squads on the street suddenly reporting citizens talking, questioning, waking instead of staring past them. They swept the rest of the base and found cages with emerald and quartz golems, stacks of research notes, and 2 specific spellbooks. Oliver tucked both into his inventory. "Griffin, you're in charge here," he said. "I'm going to check on Owen." He pressed a trickle of mana into the right gem on his bracelet, the one connected to Owen, and the world flashed. In the next breath, he was high above Westgate. He immediately summoned a wind spell to keep himself afloat. Somehow he teleported into the sky, likely where Owen had been a second before. "Oh, good," Owen called, wheeling by. "We're doing okay, but it's not over. You finished already?" "All done," Oliver said. "What's—" He broke off, staring at a knot of strange golems below. They were built from multiple gemstones, with a red core gem in each chest. He watched as one leaned back and fired a laser straight out of its core. The beam carved through a line of rock golems like a scythe, melted part of an iron squad, and only stuttered against gold. That wouldn't do. Oliver activated his time spell, his own motion surging while the world crawled. As the time counted down, he teleported down beside the nearest multi-gem golem and punched. Fortified strength and ludicrous speed turned the blow into a catapult. The golem exploded into a hail of stones. He didn't waste heartbeats. Teleport, hit, teleport, hit, teleport, hit. Each strike cratered another core. When his seconds ran thin, he broke away and time unspooled. A surviving beam raked toward him. He kicked into the air and dodged on a burst of wind. A gold golem surged past, wrapped a laser unit in shining folds, and crushed the core until the light died. In the sky, dragon fire and poison tangled. Lucy, riding a lean poison-type dragon, fanned a green haze across enemy riders. They coughed and faltered. Owen and a fire rider dove together. Air and flame braided, the oxygen-rich wind supercharging the blaze. Their blast knocked riders from saddles in a chain of forced respawns. As at Eastgate, dino riders cracked the gates, flyers swept the walls, and within minutes, Westgate fell too. They found another underground base, another mind control device, and Oliver melted it to scrap. He rifled through the lab and, no surprise now, found a multi-gem laser golem spellbook. He absorbed it into inventory and blinked back to Eastgate with a tap of Griffin's gem. Oliver let his people do the busy work. While squads freed citizens and mustered volunteers, Oliver sat cross-legged in a quiet chamber with the 3 books. He let them teach him the way such books did, not by reading, but by helping him to remember, even if the memories were someone else's. The Emerald Golem, Elastic Resilience and Razor Growth, the Quartz Golem, Fracture and Shard Kinetics, Refraction Tricks, the Multi-Gem Laser Golem, specific crystal alignments focusing a stable beam through a red heartstone. Each spell ticked into place. Each one was on a 1-month refresh. As always, the fastest path to more was sharing the spells. He found Griffin first and pressed the memories into his temples. Then he jumped to Westgate and did the same for Owen and Lucy. "Share these with trusted riders and knights," he said. "1 each for now. Teach them to teach others." The network brightened in response as new nodes, new specialists came online. In his head, Oliver offered the Wizard King a dry, private thanks for the research, for the power, for leaving it lying around where it could be taken. Then he let the thought go. Wariness finally caught him. 2 towns liberated, 3 golem spells absorbed, a day of command decisions layered across a dozen fronts. It was enough for anyone. Back in Eastgate's town hall, so similar to their own, he found a spare room, shut the door, and laid down. The familiar prompt hovered above him. Sleep now? He selected yes, and instantly he was asleep.